A certain racing driver once said back in 2006 one of the most iconic phrases in motorsport. Race cars don't need headlights because the track is always lit. Welcome back to more racing in F1 Total for now, round number 5 of season 15 in Division 1. We are here in Singapore, the Marina Bay Street Circuit. We've got 18 drivers who are all gonna be in qualifying, contending for that infamous pole position to try and find that perfect lap time at such an iconic track in Formula 1. This is round number 5. We are entering that part of the calendar that only has street tracks. We've got from round number 5 all the way down to round number 10, actually round number 9, all street tracks in a row. So this is an extremely important phase of the season, so every driver needs to maximize these results as much as possible. I am BS Gabriel, your commentator. As always, qualifying has now gone underway, so drivers are already out on track on their out laps, and let's see who's gonna be the first one to set it up around here. And it's probably gonna be a V-carb right there. Yes, it is Felix one, as always, ahead of everyone. Well, now it's ahead of everyone only in the out lap, but let's see if he's gonna be ahead of everyone at the end of qualifying as well. Now we actually got 19 drivers, so almost a full grid, and as you might see, we've got some returning drivers. This is actually a special weekend for the game. F1 24 has become free to play for like 4 days for the weekend basically. So we have many drivers making their maybe provisional return. I hope it's their permanent return to racing. But we got some of the OGs, some of the legends of the history of F1 Total. We have Fabian, Marco Darko, Pocho, Alex, 4 drivers, these 4. Some of the older drivers in F1 Total might remember their names back in the older days, back on F1 22, 21, 2020. Some of these really have made history in this league, and they are back for racing here in Singapore. Maybe just as a one-off. We obviously hope that they will return eventually later on in the season. But again, Alex, Marco Darko, Pocho and Fabian, we haven't seen those guys in a long time, so it is absolutely beautiful to see them back on track. But now we have been watching Felix's first lap of the session as he goes around. Now it's turn number 70, now 18 and 19, which are flats out this season, and the first lap of this qualifying session will be a 126.3 by the V-Cab driver. Now we do have, I think the other V-Cab, it is Alex, reserving for Jonathan. Let's see, he used to race with Felix many years ago now. Well, it has been some years since we last seen him racing. He used to be one of the top runners, always racing wheel to wheel with Felix, and now he's gonna be teammates with him for this season, but he actually goes much slower as he's still obviously adapting to the handling of the game. I think this is like his first time driving, so at 28.5. Same goes for Marco Darko at 39.7. But for the rest, we have DC Viral, one of the main Division 2 drivers who is racing in Division 1 as well. We got Cal Tracer now, 26.5 and 0.2 of Felix. Morgan in P3 at 26.7, Jeremy in P4 26.8, Edwin with at 27.3, and these are the lap times for now. We will enable the gap really quick. Now we have the Ferrari of Fabian across the final corners, who goes in P9, a second faster than Marco Darko and 0.2 off of Alex. I mean, if we... to be fair, I'm not even that much informed about the old lore of F1 Total. It's not like I'm one of the absolute OGs. But I mean, I joined this league back in season, what was it, season 9, and some of these drivers have been here in season 1. Definitely Fabian has been in season 1. So, I mean, I was gonna say, if we look at the positions from Alex, Fabian, Pocho, Marco, even the gaps, I mean, if it was the top of the field, like you would expect maybe to see these positions in the other games, but it's actually they're actually fighting for P8 and P11. So yeah. So we got many cars into the pit lane. I mean, this is probably the first time in like 2 seasons maybe that we've had Division 1 with so many drivers. It's 19, only 1 driver is missing out to get that full grid, and just look at how busy the pit lane is. It is gonna be one heck of a traffic if we do end up seeing double stacks, maybe pit stops under safety cars which statistically, if it wasn't for the in real life 2024 race, Singapore will still have a 100% rate of a safety car. So, and that's real life Formula 1. So in league racing, I think it's gonna be even more common. So it might still be a deciding factor, maybe if someone tries to pull off a strategy according to a certain safety car to a certain lap. It's not like I'm trying to hint anything at the infamous Crashgate of 2008, which was a very specific pit stop at a very specific lap at a very specific safety car, but we all know how that went, and we're better than that. This is just pure racing in F1 Total. So I think we have 11 minutes left into qualifying, and we still have many drivers without a lap time set. We do have Phantom Fox, for example, who has just started pushing coming out of turn 5. Norcas turn 6, and he's gonna finish the section 1 with 26.4. We also have the 2 McLarens very close to each other, always around turn 13, and his teammate very close behind. So always 03.7, Ashring 04.9, so there's a massive difference between the 2 McLaren teammates. We have Bazooka in the Ferrari as well, starting coming around turn number 5. Now, always will be the first McLaren to set a lap, as 10 minutes are almost left into qualifying. Always across turn 18 and 19, he goes up into P9 and ahead of Alex. What about Axonic? He goes in P14, the slowest lap time out of everyone as of now. Some in the Red Bull has just started. Phantom Fox is about to finish. He still has some deployment left into the ERS. Around turn 18 and 19 across the finish line, DRS enabled, and it's P8 between Sully and Sean Mull. So now we do have Tom and Bazooka, who is about to finish his sector 2, and he does that within 1 minute and 03.4. And I think it's with so many drivers, like even the smallest of gaps, the smallest of margins between drivers could eventually cost you a lot of positions. Maybe it's not exactly that case for the top of the field, as actually Bazooka sticks to the inside line all the way throughout the last corner. Not exactly a line I expected to see there, but I was saying, like maybe from Edwin, I mean, already from Edwin to Phantom, P5 to P8, the gaps are just almost non-existent, that even the smallest of improvements or the smallest amounts of time you lose throughout a corner, and there are many corners that you need to maximize, because Singapore is just such a technical track. You really need to get that perfect lap time. And in the meanwhile, talking about perfect lap times, Felix improves his pole position time from a 26.5 so a 26.2 and set the gap from between himself and Cat Racer exactly to 350 thousandths of a second. But Jeremy goes in P2 with a gap of 320 and Jeremy has crashed. We have the first retirement here in qualifying as the Ferrari finds the barrier at turn 10. And that's Fabian on his return in F1 Total after such a long time into the wall, so it's gonna be P14 at best for the Ferrari reserve. Who else do we have? Well, we did see Marco Dacco. We stick with him because he just went past Fabian's car and he's improving by 6/10 after sector 2 and after turn 14. Now he's approaching turn 16 and 17. Right now he's on the straight where there used to be the iconic tunnel section. We had 1, 2, 3 more corners throughout that straight. We just made for such an iconic part of the side. And Jeremy is crashed as well! We have an Aston Martin that's Phantom. Ooh! Luckily he ghosted, but Phantom Fox just completely went through the destroyed car of Jeremy, who has crashed in the same corner as Fabian, turn 10. So that's the end of qualifying for Jeremy. He will not be able to contend for pole position, but he still has a chance of starting on the front row in P2 if Cat Racer Morgan doesn't improve. Felix retires into the pits, so he thinks that his lap time is as good as it can be. And at 26.2 will be the target maybe for Cat Racer to beat, and Cat Racer actually goes all the way up into P2, improves by a 10.5, and the gap from Felix is just below 2/10. 6 minutes left on the clock. He still has a chance to go back into the pits, set a new fresh sets of softs to try and find even more time through the corners and get that infamous pole position at Singapore. We do know Felix is one of these Singapore specialists. It has always been that case on previous games, so he's gonna be a tough one to beat, surely. And this will obviously play a crucial role in the championship because Felix still needs to gain around 29 points from Cat Racer. I mean, if Cat scores 0 points, if he crashes today and Felix wins the race, even with the fastest lap, he still won't be able to go ahead of Cat Racer in the standings. And Cat right now, he's defending a 3-win streak, having won 3 races in a row and has been on the podium in every race. He has been no lower than P2 this season. He has P2, P1, P1, P1. Felix has P3, P2, P2, P3. And he's actually hasn't won a race since season 14 Hungary, and that is one heck of a long time. I actually don't even remember if I streamed Hungary. Pocho has crashed as well. We have another retirement this time around at turn 17, and it's the Alpine of Pocho. But I do think he will despawn before we see Phantom Fox going there. Yes, it has despawned. But it's a DNF for Pocho, and with a lap time of only, what is it, 29.2. Only in P16. Not exactly the return he wanted, but we do have the other returning drivers, Marco Dacco and Alex, still on track. They still haven't found the wall, but at the moment they are sitting in P12 and P14. So, I mean, these guys used to fight for wins back in the day. Now they're gonna have to fight only for points. Bazooka has started his probably second run of the session. 4 minutes left into qualifying, and Marco Dacco has returned into the pits. Maybe he does not want to go further, but now we do see the Ferrari coming around turn 6, and just before turn 7 he brakes and he improves by a 10.5 almost. DC Viral retiring on track, it looks like. Yes. The Sauber of DC Viral has retired on track for some reason, and his car is just parked after turn 3, so not sure why you would return on track. But actually, in all this, let's go back to the championship standings, because I was saying Felix and Cat Racer are the only drivers to have been on the podium in every race this season so far, and Cat Racer, he's still defending this streak of 3 race wins. But it's gonna be a very difficult task to try and maintain that streak today, because Felix looks on course maybe to try and find that race win he has been hunting again since season 14, and that is such a long time, and it's like months. And let me see, it is raining! Rain has hit the track, and that's why we see many cars returning into the pits. Raining! It's raining on track, and well, it is still very far from Inter's condition, but that grip will be very much reduced on those slicks. So I do not think we will see more laps coming in. Morgan has spun, Cal Racers into the pits, Edwin, Sally Viral, all of them retiring. Phantom Fox is on the outlap, and maybe he's still trying to salvage this. Maybe he's still trying to find that little amount of grip that the track will have to offer now, because well, it is still a very light rain, but you're still running on slicks. Oh, Morgan is crashed. I actually heard a crashing sound as Morgan finds the barrier around turn 8, so it's another DNF. But let's see Phantom Fox. Well, he's still trying to improve. He's still trying to start a lap. Shamo retiring to the pits. I mean, Phantom Fox, Avica, and a Ferrari are the only cars on track now. Let's see if maybe Phantom, he had a massive mistake on his lap and he's trying to improve on that. We don't know, but we'll have to just... No, actually, he retires into the pits. The rain is just too much and grip is way too reduced on those fresh softs with this light rain. But Alex is still going. Well, I mean, he doesn't have a lot to lose, but he's actually down by 8 seconds, and he finds the barrier at 7, and not DNFing for some reason, because there was a very high-speed crash. He has no front wing, but somehow his front tires are still holding on. And he's just straight lining the walls, and the car is not DNFing. Look at that! He just T-boned the wall 3 times now, and the car is still intact. How is the car not crashing? How is he not DNFing? He's still trying to take the corner normally. Does he send it now for turn 10? Let's see the speed. No, he actually slows down. Ah, there we go. At 200 kilometers per hour approximately, Alex finally DNFs, and we see the car rotating by itself. The car is not even moving, and it's still rotating. Ah, the contact model. Such a beauty, the contact model of F1 24. I mean, you just have to admire it. But it is Felix on pole position around Singapore with a 1 minute and 26.2, and Cal Tracer will still sat on the front row just behind right now his current championship main rival in P2, Jeremy in P3, and his lap time I think it's at 26.5, Morgan should be at 26.6 or 7, so Morgan in P4, then we have Edwin P5, Sally P6, DC Viral P7, Phantom Fox P8, Tom in P9, Bazooka in P10, Shamon, Marco, Always, Alex, Fabian, Pocho, Actionrick, Creamy, and Dylan. These are the rest of the grid, the bottom 9, and now the race will go underway. We will see the cars on the grid now, and it still looks dry, so I haven't got any report in the Discord chat, so I assume it's gonna maintain dry. So, I mean, what can we expect? I think pretty much everything. 19 drivers, with 4 drivers returning on the game for the first time in months, if not years. Street track, obviously, so was very close, not a surprise. A safety car will very likely be on track. I do think it has still 100% race, 100% rate of the safety car coming out of track, coming out on track actually. So yeah, the strategies, I think actually the drivers could try some very creative strategies, because You have a lot of traffic, a lot of cars close to you, as well as the walls, and safety cars will change everything, but we will see right now as the race is about to begin. The 5 red lights are on and it's lights out, and away we go for the Singapore Grand Prix, and it's Cat Racer trying to get a better start of Felix on pole position, and Cat Racer sends it on the inside, and Felix goes off track limits, but he's still trying to maintain their position. Which will they go? Around turn 3, and they are still fighting. Felix is on the inside of turn 5 now, and he maintains P1 as Cat Racer has tried to take that position out of Felix's hands, and many position changes, but no crashes or spins. But Felix and Cat Racer still side by side through turn 8, 7 and 8 they go. Felix is still going off track. Felix now on the inside, Cat Racer with a real lock, almost drifting through that corner, turn 8 and now turn 9, but Cat Racer takes the lead of the race, and Jeremy goes up into P2. So now Felix is in P3, Morgan trying to find a gap, and Edwin is very close behind. Many position changes throughout the entire grid. Now Dylan, Fabian and Creamy fighting for position, but I think Creamy is actually ghosting for some reason. There's maybe a disconnect, internet issues maybe for the Aston Martin. He's ghosting through pretty much everyone. But let's go back to the front of the field. Actually, Edwin and Sully fighting for position as Edwin takes P5 out of Sully's hands. Alex up into P11, and look at that, Creamy is just teleporting on track. His internet is not absolutely helping him at the moment. And Tom has dropped down the order. He's ghosting, going very slowly, 2.5 seconds behind always. But now lap 2 has started, the DRS has been enabled. It is Cat Racer in the lead with Jeremy in P2 and Felix still in the podium places. But Morgan is very close in P4. It's only 3/10 separating these cars. We do have a DRS train from P1 all the way down to P10. Marco still is inside this DRS train, Alex is not, and Jeremy goes for the move with DRS just before turn 7. Jeremy is now into the lead of the race. Cat Racer in P2, Felix is still in P3, and it looks like Alex and Creamy are still fighting once again. Dylan and Fabian fighting for P13 at the moment as Dylan takes the inside line, and we have a McLaren going deep. It is always in action rink. The two McLaren teammates going completely deep at turn 7. Not sure what happened there. Tom in P17, but he's still ghosting, and Fabian in P16. Maybe he got collected into the crash or the contact. I don't know what was it. And Creamy just keeps teleporting back and forth. But Alex is outside of this DRS train in P11. Baku in P10, he's still inside that. Now we got Pocho as well fighting with Bazooka, still for P13, still the back markers spots. This is not where they want to finish the race, but it's still a long way to go, still 30 laps to go into this race. Now Jeremy sets the fastest lap, and he's still maintaining the lead of this race. And actually let's look at the tires, because we haven't seen that, because Jeremy, he's the only one starting on softs. Most of the grid is starting on the mediums, some are on the hards, like Fabian, but he's pitting. Dylan is pitting. Well, we do have already pit stops on lap 3. Let's see what tires they choose. Alex goes for new mediums and a wing change. Dylan goes for new hards, but it's not a wing change, and he has jumped Alex into the pit lane. And Fabian goes with fresh mediums. I don't know if it was a wing change, but now we have, in the meanwhile, Creamy gets a track miss penalties. The first victim of 3-second time penalties here at Singapore, it is Creamy. Phantom Fox fighting with DC Barrel, and he actually executes a very nice overtake. Woo! Contact between DC Barrel and Phantom Fox, and DC Barrel drops down to P9 after there was some hefty contact with the Aston Martin there, and actually DC Barrel got wing damage. I think that incident will be looked at by the stewards, because the Sauber is indeed missing one of the end plates, the left one to be precise. So Phantom Fox maybe not with the best of awareness, but that's already a very difficult corner to overtake, so contact is not exactly rare through that section, but it is indeed wing damage for the Sauber, and a new DRS train that has been reduced to P5. Jeremy, Cat Racer, Felix, Morgan and Edwin are still the only one into this DRS train for the lead of the race, and they are all mediums except for Jeremy, who is on the soft comp and is still trying to defend the lead of the race. Creamy has retired into the pits, or did he just despawn? I think maybe his lagging was just too much for the race to continue. So we already have for the first DNF of this Singapore Grand Prix. It is Creamy due to connection issues. They are so close to each other. Edwin just tailgating Morgan, who actually goes very close to the wall, and Edwin tries to go for a more safe line, for a line with less risk. And still a lot of smoke coming out of there. Ooh, Morgan with a massive oversteer out of turn 11, so this might be a chance for Edwin to try and go for the overtake. Edwin does not have DRS, but he still gets that position. He uses that oversteer Morgan had, so it's P4 now for Edwin. Dylan is into the pits once again for some reason. Fabian is down in P17 by himself, and Tom, I think he disconnected because he's just ghosting and going slowly. So we do have many disconnection issues throughout the field. Starting lap number 5, Jeremy is still trying to hold on to those softs, who looks like they are still maintaining that grip. He is still able to pull away from Car Chaser, but will he actually hold him off for long enough? Because now Kat has DRS and he has a look up down the inside of turn 7, and Kat takes the lead of the race, but Jeremy actually attempts a switchback. They still go wheel to wheel around turn 8. Who's gonna be ahead for the turning point of turn 9? Is gonna be Jeremy, who has more grip on those softs, and he goes into P9, and they avoid Creamy's car going very slowly for some reason, even if he disconnected and retired. But Jeremy is still maintaining P1 on those softs, so it is just about understanding what lap these softs are gonna wear out so much the mediums become faster. We'll only have to wait and see. Sully has recovered a lot of distance from Morgan. He's back into DRS, and so is Phantom Fox and Sean Moore. Disivaro just missing out in P9 and Marco in P10. And Bazooka will have to recover at least 5 seconds to try and fight for the top 10 to try to score points. But Catcher actually overtakes Jeremy before we go through turn 18 and 19. And now it is Williams back into the lead of the race. But Jeremy will not let them through. He has the DRS, he's still fighting for that position. He almost has a look up down inside. What about Felix? He almost attempted something on the inside of Jeremy, who has to go slightly off track, but he still maintains P2. And this top 3 is the closest fight we have on the grid at the moment. Morgan is still doing well to try and keep the pace up, keep it consistent into this DRS train, as he's still maintaining very good top speed through the straight, opening the rear wing, so he still has a chance of putting on some fight for the podium places. Shalmul has dropped down to Phantom Fox. Now it's 1.4 seconds separating the Williams and the Aston Martin. I don't know what happened, maybe it was a mistake for Shalmul, but that is indeed him out of the DRS train in P8 and 1.4 seconds ahead of the next car to him. Actually, Shanmul 1.3 seconds behind Phantom Fox. I actually said ahead for some reason. So it is indeed 7 cars fighting for the podium and for the win. Will we see any overtakes soon? Well, it looks like the grid actually split itself pretty much, but let's look at those gaps, because we might be for an interesting situation now, because Car Tracer has dropped out of DRS, and it looks like Jeremy is starting indeed to lose grip on those softs, because Felix overtook him on the inside of turn 1, and he had a massively better exit out of the last corner on the straight. So it is Felix up in CP2, and let's look at those gaps, because we might actually start to see Jeremy losing grip on those softs, but he actually sends it back on the inside and they make contact around turn 7. Jeremy and Felix still fighting for position, and Morgan tries to follow through and they are still making contact. Now Morgan goes alongside Jeremy for turn 9 and the Red Bull on the outside line. Now he's into the podium places. Car Chaser is loving this fight because he's just gaining and gaining so much. Now it's 2.5 seconds separating Felix and Car Chaser. Car Chaser on his own and Felix trying to fend off these hungry cars behind. Now it's gonna be Morgan with DRS with a chance to overtake Felix for P2 to get those 3 extra points still on the podium. And Jeremy, I do think his softs are indeed starting to drop off and to wear out very, very quickly indeed. Morgan absolutely using all of that energy that he can master, and Jeremy goes back into the pits. Pit stop coming for the Mercedes with those softs already on lap 7. He has lost so much grip and so much pace, and he goes for the hards. Jeremy, despite starting on the softs, he's still attempting a one-stopper and the hard compound to try and go to the end. P11 as of now. Will he get jumped by Owens and Pocho? Yes, he will. So it's P13 for Jeremy. Now he just needs to do a very conservative stint to try and go to the end, but the fighting is not stopping at all on this midfield as Edwin and Sally are fighting for P4, and Morgan, he's still ahead of Felix, but Felix still has DRS, so still a chance to overtake him back, but definitely not a chance to try and recover that distance from the current race leader, Car Chaser, with 3 seconds almost from the Red Bull. Morgan, who rear locks coming around turn 11, and very nicely executed drift through the hairpin. Didn't lose too much time, but who lost a lot of time is indeed Sully. 1.6, that's the gap between himself and Felix, but he actually recovers that very quickly around turn 14. If he uses the energy, if he keeps pushing a little bit more, maybe he can still open his rear wing in the later stages of the race. But Edwin is pitting. Yes, Edwin is pitting. It's a very early pit stop. Pitting on mediums already on lap 9. The Haas goes into the pits. And it will be very likely hard to the end for the Lithuanian driver, who indeed goes on the hards. One stopper for him as well, and just needs to maintain the pace as much as possible in this stint. And he does get jumped by Jeremy, who is very much ahead, not in the DRS range. Now it's 6 tenths. This is the gap between Morgan and Felix. Felix, who just kept losing so much time, but Morgan actually is winning damage. I didn't notice. The Red Bull, yes, it is indeed missing the left end plate, so it's a loss of downforce regarding right-hander corners, I think. I actually forgot how the downforce works. It's crazy. Yeah, it should be right corners, I mean right-handers. And we have a Red Bull into the pits. It is Morgan. Morgan noticing how he lost too much pace with that damaged front wing, so the Red Bull is into the pits. His pit box already in. Hard compound and a new front wing. Sharmore in the pits as well. We got many medium runners pitting so early, and they go on the hards too. And we've also got some penalties for track limits in the case of Viral, Pocho, Dylan and Fabian. So we have officially entered the pit stop phase of this race. And its top 8 is yet to pit from mediums, very likely to hards. what we still need to understand is will they pit on the same lap or will they attempt an undercut? Who is gonna attempt an undercut? Who is gonna attempt an overcut? And double stacks should not be a problem because the top 8 is all made up of different teams. But we do see some gaps starting to break DRS, because we have Phantom with 5/10 behind Sully, and that's the closest fight to the top we have with DRS still enabled. We have Bazooka and Marco for P6, they are very close, and Bazooka almost slides with quite an oversteer out of turn 14, but he still tries to get all the slipstream possible from the Alpine driver. Jeremy overtaking always fresh hards against all mediums. Jeremy on the charge. 27.6 is the gap to Cut Racer. Will it be enough for an undercut? At the moment we don't know, but what we know is that those mediums are still holding off for 10 laps and the drivers still do not want to pit. Now the Ferrari of Bazooka is using all the slipstream available with DRS. He goes for the inside line of turn 7 and he still go with Wheeler and Marco with a massive snap oversteer trying to find traction. Sorry, I would say Marco Racco struggling to find traction after turn 7, so it's easier pass than Bazooka predicted as he goes up into P6, and now it's 5.5 seconds separating the Ferrari and the Sauber for P6 and P5. Phantom Fox not really with a battle, he's just trying to chase Sully at the moment. But when are we gonna get into these pits of phase? Cut Racer says no, Felix says no, Sully says yes as Phantom Fox says no, so Sully trying to defend his position ahead of Phantom Fox with the undercut, and the Mercedes will go onto the hard compound, pitting a lap earlier than all of this group that he was fighting, but actually Viral pitting this lap as well, so trying to follow the same strategy as Sully. And I think we're gonna have to look at the leader gaps, because an undercut might be underway, and Jeremy has recovered a second to Cut Racer. It was 27.4 a lap earlier, now it's 26.3. He is definitely gaining on those hard tires, and he will definitely make the jump on Cut Racer once he goes back into the pits. And DC Viral making contact with Action because he goes out of the pit lane, knowing damage for the Sauber and knowing damage for the McLaren, but it looks like not exactly the best of awareness from both drivers coming out of the pit lane. And he's still fighting for that position, but actually he backs out very early, so now it's P14 very easily for DC Viral as he has the fresh hards. So he's gonna have a very conservative stint on the hards to try and go to the end. Poggio gets a 10-second penalty for corner cutting. I think he might have cut the turn 11 and 12 kind of chicane. Is it a chicane? Yes or no? But he gets a 10-second penalty for cutting the entire section. Phantom Fox is into the pits, so we have another medium runners now switching on to the hards. We have the Ferrari of Bazooka as well. We could see that in the background Marco Racco gets a 3-second time penalty for track limits. But the two main championship contenders and the two main race win contenders, Cut Racer and Felix, are still staying out on mediums, while Jeremy is recovering all of the time in the world on those fresh hards. Once Cut Racer and Felix pit, they will end up so far behind. So what they are doing now is either two options: gambling on a safety car or choosing to have fresher hards to have somewhat of a tire advantage. Or maybe it could be both. We do have a nice little fight for P6. P6 and P7 actually. Sully trying to defend P6 from Shamul, and Shamul trying to defend P7 from Panzerfox, and they are all on not exactly the same Cyber Age of hards, but they are all on pretty much Flash hards, so they are on the same strategy. So this is indeed a fight between those three, Sully, Shamul, and Panzerfox. With pit stop phase, maybe it could be a fight for P5. Maybe even P4 or 3 if they get like very lucky and play the cards right. But Saudi will slightly be in trouble because he does not currently have DRS, and now he definitely has DRS. Morgan gets a 3-second time penalty. So Sully will have DRS to defend himself from Sean and Phantom, and he's going to use the chance, and Morgan has crashed, and the safety car is out! Morgan has crashed at turn 3, he finds the barrier on the right hand side, there we go, his car just despawned, but the safety car has indeed been called to go out on track, and this gives almost everyone a free pit stop. It's a perfect situation for Catch Racer and Phoenix, because now they will make their first pit stop of the race from mediums to hards. It's gonna be very easy for them, so Jeremy will be slightly mad that his undercut didn't exactly work because of this safety car, but we do have now the first cars coming back into the pits. Fabian, Pocho, Dylan, all for pit stops. And we might see indeed some traffic now. The Williams of Carter into the pits. Same goes for the vehicle of Felix. Hard tires for Catch Racer. Felix, he's approaching his pit box now. He's very close, but I still think it's gonna be hard, very likely, yes. Pocho gets a 10-second penalty for crossing the pit lane, exit white line. So Pocho in the Alpine, oh well, now he's retired. Now he's retiring. I'm not sure where, but I guess that's the Alpine effect, the 2023 Esteban Ocon effect, just accumulating so many track limits penalties. But actually, Edwin has stayed out. Edwin is staying out, interestingly, on those 6 taps older hards. He's gambling to have a slightly better track position as he splits Catch Racer and Felix apart, who are both on new hards. Edwin has slightly more sideware in that. But he indeed has made the decision to stay out on track, and now he has a P2 that he's definitely gonna have to defend very closely. Sully stayed out, that's more reasonable, it's only 3 laps, same goes for Panzerfox with 2 laps. Jeremy just went on fresh mediums, and well, he's gonna be very mad about that one. He couldn't pull off a perfect undercut on the rest of the field, but now, well, he will have the faster tires of this top 5 ahead of him, so the chance for the win is absolutely not gone. We have DC Viral not pitting with those only 3 laps sold hards, Marco Darko pitting for new hards, Sean with new mediums, Alex new mediums, new hards for Always, new mediums for Bazooka, new hards for Action Rick, slightly older hards for Dylan, slightly older mediums for Fabian, and new hards for Somo, who still seems to be disconnected. And we actually have some lapped cars in this safety car train. So definitely not an ideal traffic situation if you need to get past as soon as possible. But we'll have to see how the drivers decide to handle that. So Bazooka is in repeats. He was not happy with his tire compound under the safety car, so he doesn't accept pit stop, drops down to P15 and goes on his slightly worn hards. The two Ferraris are now closing P14 and P15. Who's going to be ahead is going to be Bazooka. The two Ferraris are very close to the pack. Will we get a very late safety car in call? I don't think we will. Yeah, safety car is around the last corner. So Bazooka and Fabian have caught up to the field just barely before that the safety car could come into the picture. So it's gonna be one extra per safety car. On lap 17 now, we will resume at the end of 17 and the racing will be back on lap 18. So, as the cars are still cruising around the safety car, we will use this moment to try and see how many penalties are there. We got 6 seconds for this battle, so 2 track limit penalties, and then 1 track limit penalty for Marco Darko, Dylan and Fabian, 3 seconds each. And I just realized that I muted myself for this restart. Apologies for that. But Caccias has defended the lead on this restart, so not many position changes. Actually, gets a 3-second time penalty. Sean Mullen-Viral fighting for position as Sean goes past the Sauber. Now into P7 he goes, and let's see if he has a chance of recovering 1.8 seconds from Jeremy. But now Felix and Edwin fighting for P2 as Felix takes that position, breaking on the inside of Turn 1. So now he still has a chance of using the DRS against Caccias, who is just ahead of him. But Edwin will have DRS as well. Let's see if he recovers any time. It's the rear wing open for Felix on the straight between Turn 5 and Turn 7 as he tries to recover so much distance from the Williams ahead. Jeremy and Fox fighting for P5, it looks like, and didn't always battling for P11 just outside of the points, but they still have a chance of getting into the top 10 and scoring something if they keep it consistent and maybe one of the cars ahead makes a mistake. Sean is out of the DRS, 1.6. He will not be very close to Phantom Fox, so it's a train from P1 to P6. And the only team to be in this train with two cars is Mercedes, as Jeremy with those matte fresh and mediums overtakes Sully on those older hards. So now it's P4 for the German Mercedes driver, and his charge is just absolutely not stopping. He can overtake pretty much everyone on those tires, but he still needs to bring it home as 20 lap 20. We will start lap 20 now, so actually 12 laps are left to the end, and Jeremy sets the new fastest lap of the race with those mediums. But look at that, Felix is so close to cut. DRS will be open in just a moment, using the energy as well. He uses all the slipstream, but not enough. Not enough to overtake him. He just has a look up around the outside, but can't quite pull it off. Jeremy has lost some distance, but he actually maintains in the DRS range. So now 5 tenths. That's the gap between the two race contenders and the two title contenders, at least at the moment. Cut in the lead. He'll be looking forward to defend his 4th race win in a row to maintain that streak. While Felix just needs to win another race in Division 1, as it has been so long since his last one. But the top 3 really looks like in a league of their own. Kat and Felix on the same strategy, going with the end on those hards. Jeremy as well going to the end, but he has the mediums and he will definitely be faster, at least for now, at least in this stage of the race, as we see that 11 laps are left to the end of this race. Felix has the DRS. Jeremy has the DRS. Will we see any overtakes on the straight? No, we won't. We just see cars getting closer and closer, but not enough for an overtake to be pulled off. Sully is fighting very much to try and get P4 out of Edwin, and Sully has 3 laps younger hard, so theoretically they should give him a little bit of more performance, but it's such a tiny margin, it might actually not make the difference. But we don't know. In the end, it is the driver making a difference with the equal cars we used to race. The Mercedes using all of the slipstream, but not enough. Let's see if he attempts something. We are around turn 15, and it's a very long straight up until turn 16. But he only has a look up on the inside. He just wants to put pressure on Edwin to try and appear into his rear mirrors to say, hey, I am here, I will overtake you soon. Not now, but soon enough, the time will come. Bazooka gets a 3-second time penalty. We do have another victim out of track limits. Now Alex overtaking Virus. So now Alex looking forward to get even more points out of this race. He's maintaining the top 10 finish. Now it's a top 9. Bazooka and Dylan as well. Dylan has the inside. The first turn 5. The Haas has made a move very successfully. And he has the DRS enabled. Now Sully and Edwin Fati. Oh, 3 cars going off track as Sully overtakes Edwin to go up into P4. And Shalmul going off track drops down to P7. But he still has the mediums, which theoretically should be faster and should give him a chance to overtake the cars ahead. But now we do see Alex and Viral going side by side. But no, Viral backs out before turn 10. It is Marco up in P8, Alex in P9 and Viral in P10, and Sully has disconnected, oh no! Let me invite him real quick. Sully with a disconnect on lap 22, and now he has been forced to go on AI. He's gonna drop down so far down the order, and that is such a shame. He was running in a great position for the entire race, but now it has all gone to shambles. But look at that, Alex and Marco D'Arco and Viral in this very active fight. But Marco gets a penalty. Marco cutting the inside curb of turn 18 too much. Now he gets a 3-second time penalty as well as Viral. So it looks like an easy P8 for Alex if he keeps it consistent. Actually P7, because he will overtake Sully. He will go ahead of Sully's AI, but that's if Sully doesn't join back anytime soon. So Alex with a there we go, Sully has joined, but Alex with a very good result and a good race on his return. He's now fighting for P7. He has stood out from the other returning drivers, Marco D'Arco, who is fighting very heavily in P8, Fabian in P14, and Pocho, who has retired. So I think he can be very happy with that performance. But race leaders are still into DRS range to one another. It is still Kart into the lead, who will try to defend that P1 for 8 laps and a half. And Felix just barely hanging on to DRS. Oh, he's so far. He's so close. He's barely outside of the 1 second gap, so Felix will absolutely be pushing to the limit. Kart Racer sets the fastest lap of the race as he tries to build a gap and to knock out Felix out of DRS. This is a crucial stage. Does he still have DRS? It's very close. Let's see. Out of turn 5. Yes, he does. Felix luckily still has the ability to open his rear flap, so not everything is lost, but he might have used a lot of battery. Yes, it's only 21% of energy left for Felix, while Kart Racer only has 56 and is going on none. Now Viral and Marco D'Arco fighting as well, always, and Bazooka just behind. We do see the Haas of Dylan as well, and Marco and Viral going side by side. Marco with a spin almost, with a slight oversteer, but now he gets overtaken by Bazooka as well, so he loses 2 positions at once. But look at that, we can see 5, 6, 7 cars in the midfield fighting for the points. Now around turn 11, 12 and 13 other helping. Viral stays ahead of this group. He's going to defend from Bazooka, Marco, Dylan and Sully, who has just joined back. Always in Fabian into this fight as well, and Dylan on the inside of Marco, setting it around turn 14, and they almost go into the wall. They make contact with each other, and one of them almost risked a massive crash. Now Sully is back into P11 after he joined back from his unfortunate disconnect, but he still has a chance of scoring many points. Fabian weaving before turn 18 for some reason. Now Sully, he's effectively up into P8 considering the track limits penalties from the cars ahead. But if he is indeed faster than Alex, he still has a chance for P7, but it doesn't have a lot of time left. Lap 25 out of 31. It's 6.5 laps left, and we got yellow flags for someone. I don't know who, but Jeremy, Caceres and Felix are fighting for the lead of the race. Actually, Jeremy goes for the move for the lead of the race in P1, and Felix drops down to P3. Caceres is in P2, and Jeremy is pushing those mediums to the absolute limit. He's pushing the extra grip that he has compared to the heart of Carter Felix. So now it's the Mercedes up into P1, and Phantom Fox now at the moment pulling off a very solid performance in P4, and he's trying to defend that P4 from Edwin in P5 just behind, but Edwin has slightly slower hearts. Sean Mull trying to overtake Edwin and Phantom as well, and then we have a gap with Alex driving on his own, but then we have this beautiful fight for the last positions to score points. Viral still defending that P8, which is gonna get attacked very soon by Bazooka, Sully, Dylan, Marco, and always Fabian has slightly dropped down as he actually hits the wall, sliding with the rear and brushes the wall at the exit of turn 17. But Sully is very close to Bazooka. He actually goes for the inside line through turn 2 and now turn 3. Who's gonna be ahead? And it looks like it's gonna be the Mercedes of Sully with a beautiful move. Now he's up into P9, but let's go back to the leaders because Jeremy has overtaken Caceres and they still go side by side. First 9 and at the door. Ooh, Jeremy with a massive snap over steer, and through goes Felix for the lead of the race. Now, before turn 10, it is the V-Carb driver up into P1. Jeremy with a slight oversteer, and Caceres having to avoid him. It was a beautiful opening for Felix to try and get that P1, and he has done just that. But now he will be attacked with the RS again from Jeremy and Caceres, who are absolutely not giving that up. Once again, this is the podium we are used to see, but we do not know what position of the podium these guys are gonna get. Sean Muller in P5 at the moment. He's dropping out of the RS from Phantom Fox. The Williams driver looks like he's gonna have to settle for P5 and defending that P5 from the house of Edwin. Now Varel and Sully fighting for P8. It is effectively P8 for Sully, but it's P9 on track. He needs to overtake him as soon as possible. As they go around turn 18 and 19, let's see if Sully does find an opening, a gap somewhere around turn 1. He has the RS, he has a look up on the inside, and he actually backs out. He's just trying to put pressure into Viral, but now Felix losing that P1 from Jeremy, and these still go side by side. Now it's Felix and Caceres going wheel to wheel through turn 8. Who stays ahead? Felix has the inside line and he still stays ahead, and Caceres going slightly slower. He kind of missed the apex, and Viral with a massive snap over steer, he drops down to 10th, and Bazooka is fighting with Sully for P8, and look at Dylan as well, trying to send it, and Bazooka is power round. Bazooka is sideways at turn 8. The Ferrari has been spun around by probably the house of Dylan or the Mercedes of Sully, I don't know, but the stewards we definitely have a look at that. Lap 27 out of 31. The fight for the points finishing positions is still much on, just like the podium and just like the race win. Only 4 laps left after this one. Now it's Jeremy into the lead. It is once again the 3 Germans always on the podium, but we do not know what position they are gonna get. Felix goes for the inside and 3 wide into turn 1, and Caceres overtakes them both, and the contact between Jeremy and Caceres, a slight contact on the rear end, so I don't think there was some wing damage there. But Felix is now in P3 and Jeremy in P2. Caceres has taken the lead, but let's see, does he lose the lead around turn 7? The Mercedes with the DRS, but no, he has a look up inside at the last possible moment, but he backs out to try to attempt an overtake later, but actually no, Jeremy sends it already on the inside of turn 8. There you go, and Jeremy into the lead of this race. Caceres in P2. Felix is trying to just stay behind in P3 to find a gap somewhere to try and overtake them both and still trying to bring this win home. Lap 28 out of 31. 3.5 laps left. The fight, and Marco has crashed, and we have a virtual safety car. Marco has crashed at turn 8, and he is actually facing the wrong direction. I think he might have got wheel spin on the exit of turn 8 and got the wall on the right hand side. Luckily, very luckily it's only a virtual safety car. They are very happy it's only a virtual safety car, because if it was a full course safety car on the very last lap that the safety car could have come out, it would have been very chaotic, to say the least. So the race has been currently neutralized. No one pitting, obviously DRS is enabled because we resume racing on lap 29, and DRS will already be online after turn 5 in this very lap. It's 3 laps left to the end of this Grand Prix, and we still do not know who is gonna win this race. At the moment it looks like it's gonna be Jeremy, but in the span of just a few corners it could be Kyle Tracer and Felix in just the blink of an eye. They are fighting throughout every single corner, and Jeremy sliding on those mediums, which theoretically should be now slower than those hards. The tire age is the same between all three of them, but with 14 laps the mediums should be faster, so it's gonna be one heck of a drive for Jeremy to pull off if he wants to maintain this P1 to try and win this race. But he's still struggling with traction out of slow corners. Carter is saving a lot of batteries, so is Felix. Jeremy not quite. He's actually a little bit further to the limit of the energy store. And we approach the penultimate lap. This Jeremy still in the lead, and Felix going slightly off track. He might have gotten some track limits warnings, but Catracer goes on the inside and he does not go deep. He parks it on the apex very nicely to stop Jeremy to attempt a switchback. So now Felix will have a chance to overtake them back if Jeremy has the arrest now, and Catracer trying to break the toe. And Jeremy and Felix not giving up on that, still using all the slipstream available. They will go through the lap car of Tom in Red Bull, which I don't think is gonna give them the RS. Yes, they just go past very nicely. And Jeremy with a massive stopover still out of turn 9, and he has lost the chance for the race win. A massive oversteer that Jeremy had, just drifting on the exit of turn 9, but he has dropped down. Well, he's still in P3, but now he's actually gonna have to defend the P3 from Phantom Fox, as Phantom Fox almost rear-ends him. But now, approaching lap 30, it is a fight for the win, only between Catracer and Felix, the two championship contenders. They are still giving it absolutely everything. Turn 16 and 17, we are so close to the ending stages of this Grand Prix. This yellow flags for McLaren, I think it's always, but we are starting the last lap of this Singapore Grand Prix. Lap 31 out of 31, Felix has used already a lot of energy, but Felix gets a penalty! Felix cuts the inside corner too much! He goes too much on the inside on the curb of turn 1, and it's a 3-second time penalty for Felix. And it's absolutely heartbreaking for the VCAP driver. He could have had a chance at his best track to try and win his first race since Hungary in season 14, and again he will not be able to do that. And there is a wing left flying. I don't know, I saw a piece of debris flying. I don't know if you saw that too, but Felix, oh, it's actually Felix rear-ending Catracer, and he has wing damage, and he's only gonna have to settle for P2 and to bring it home. Dylan has crashed! How is he crashed there? How is Dylan crashed on a straight? The Haas of Dylan just went into the wall on the left hand side before turn 7 on the straight. I have no idea how he crashed there. I mean, the only thing I can think of is a real puncher, but it's not exactly viable. But Felix, with a costly mistake on the final lap, on the very first corner, he will not be able to convert pole position into race win, because it's gonna be Kutch Racer to take the checkered flag first once again to win the Singapore Grand Prix, and Felix in P2, and Phantom Fox has taken P3 at the last possible moment out of Jeremy's hands. It is Aston Martin on the podium, and Jeremy, he's gonna be so mad about that one. He should have been one of the main contenders for the win of the race. But that mistake that already lost in P3, now he lost in P4 as well. He should have been one of the main championship contenders, but it's only gonna be a P4. But Kutch Racer maintains now with 4 races won in a row. Round number 2, 3, 4, and now round number 5. It is once again Kutch Racer at the top step of the podium, and Felix just behind him. But for the first time, Creamy gets driver. Creamy, who was lagging all the way and got disconnected and retired, for some reason he gets driver of the day. I don't know what the game is smoking. I think he might have got driver. He might have assigned driver of the day to the wrong Aston Martin driver, because now we have, maybe for the first time this season, I'm not sure, but it's not an all-German podium anyway, because there is right there a Brit in the Aston Martin suit to get P3 out of Jeremy's hands with a beautiful performance, a beautiful race for Phantom Fox. Kutch Racer maintains the win streak. Felix maintains the podium streak. You obviously hoped they would have gone much better, as Kutch Racer gets the maximum points, 26, with the fastest lap as well. Felix only in P2, the pole sitter, only 18 points for him, and Phantom Fox recovering up to 3rd position, starting in 8th. It's a beautiful performance from the Aston Martin, who finishes on the podium. Jeremy missing out with that cost mistake in P4. Jeremy in P5, a very good result from P11. Edwin in P6. Alex from P14 to P7. On his return, he scores points. Sally in P8, Varal in P9, and always in P10. Everyone else outside of the top 10 and outside of the points. And this has been a very exciting Singapore Grand Prix. Thank you for watching, for my commentary and for the racing of these guys. So we will see you again for the Division 2 version on Wednesday. Still Singapore for Division 2, but next week for Division 1 we will be back on Saturday to continue our streak of street tracks, and next week it will be Jeddah in Saudi Arabia. See you next week, have a good rest of the weekend, and until then, goodbye.